Captain Lee Hana walked through the metal halls of Harmony's Edge, her boots making soft sounds on the clean floor. The space station was huge, bigger than any human city she had seen. Lights from different colored suns came through the big windows, making strange patterns on the walls. Aliens from many worlds moved around her, talking in languages that sounded like music or machines. Hana carried her rifle on her back. The weapon was special to her. Her grandfather had started building it during the first alien contact wars. Her father had improved it. Now Hana had made it even better. The rifle could fire energy bolts or metal bullets. It could change based on what she needed. The weapon was part of her family's history and part of her own skill as a soldier. "Stay close to the group," Commander Park Dae-ho said. He was walking next to her. Park was older than Hana, with gray hair and kind eyes. He had taught her many things about being a soldier. "Today is important for all humans." Ambassador Choi Young-sik walked in front of them. He wore nice clothes instead of a uniform. Behind them came Dr. Yoon Ji-woo, a young woman who understood alien technology. Sergeant Kim Taemin and 5 other human soldiers walked with them. They were here to protect the ambassador during peace talks. "I don't like this place," Kim said quietly. He was looking at the alien guards who watched them. "Too many eyes, watching us." Hana looked around, too. The Vexathari soldiers stood at every corner. They were tall creatures with gray skin and sharp claws. Their eyes were yellow and cold. They carried weapons that looked like they could cut through metal easily. The Vexathari had demanded this meeting. They wanted to make peace with humans, but Hana felt something was wrong. "The peace talks will help everyone," Ambassador Choi said, but his voice sounded worried. "If we can end the fighting, human colonies will be safe." They reached a big room with a round table. Delegates from many alien species sat around it. The room smelled like flowers and metal. At the head of the table sat High Commander Zelmak of the Vexathari Empire. He was bigger than the other Vexathari, with scars on his face and arms. His yellow eyes looked at the humans like they were insects. "Welcome, humans," Zelmak said. His voice was deep and rough. "Please, sit and let us talk about peace." Ambassador Choi sat down. The other humans stood behind him, as was proper. Hana could feel many eyes looking at her rifle. Some aliens seemed curious, others looked afraid. The Vexathari looked angry. "Before we begin," Zelmak said, standing up, "we must discuss a serious problem. The Vexathari Empire cannot make peace while humans bring weapons to diplomatic meetings." "Our guards are here for protection only," Ambassador Choi said. "This is normal for all species." "Normal for civilized species," Zelmak said. He pointed, one clawed finger at Hana's rifle. "But humans are still learning civilization. That weapon is dangerous. It does not belong in a place of peace." Hana felt her jaw tighten. The rifle had never been fired in anger except to protect innocent people. It had saved her life many times. It had saved the lives of her friends. Now this alien wanted to call it dangerous. "The weapon stays with my guard," Ambassador Choi said, firmly. "Then there will be no peace," Zelmak said. He looked around the table at the other aliens. "The Vexathari Empire has evidence that human weapons are too powerful, too unpredictable. They make other species nervous." An alien with blue skin and 4 arms spoke up. "Perhaps the humans could store their weapons in a safe place during talks?" "We agree," said another alien who looked like a walking tree. "Peace requires trust." Hana watched Ambassador Choi's face. She could see he was trapped. If he refused, the peace talks would end. Human colonies would keep being attacked. People would die. But if he agreed, he would show weakness. "Very well," Ambassador Choi said finally. "Captain Lee will store her weapon in the station's security vault during talks." "No," Zelmak said with a smile that showed sharp teeth. "I will take the weapon myself. I want to study this human technology. That makes everyone so worried." Commander Park put his hand on Hana's shoulder. She was shaking with anger, but she kept her face calm. "Captain," Park whispered, "remember what we discussed. Sometimes we must lose a battle to win a war." Hana walked slowly to High Commander Zelmak. Every step felt heavy. She could hear her heartbeat in her ears. The rifle had been with her for 10 years. She had modified every part. She knew every circuit and gear. It was like giving away part of herself. "This weapon belonged to my grandfather," Hana said as she took the rifle off her back. "And my father. It has protected many innocent people." "How touching," Zelmak said. He took the rifle from her hands. His claws clicked against the metal. "Human sentiment for tools, very primitive." Zelmak held the rifle up so everyone could see it. "Look at this crude craftsmanship. Humans try to combine different technologies without understanding them. Energy cells next to kinetic firing systems. Very dangerous. Very unstable." Hana wanted to explain that the design was actually very smart. The energy cells could power the magnetic rails that fired the kinetic rounds. Or they could charge up for energy blasts. The weapon could adapt to any situation. But she stayed quiet. "This hybrid design could explode at any moment," Zelmak continued. "It is a danger to everyone around it." Then he did something that made Hana's blood turn cold. Zelmak found the main power coupling, a small crystal that took her father 3 years to grow. He held it up between his claws. "For everyone's safety," he said, and crushed the crystal into powder. The rifle would never work again. 50 years of family work was destroyed in 1 second. Hana felt like she had been punched in the stomach, but she kept her face empty of emotion. "There," Zelmak said, putting the broken rifle on a side table. "Now we can have peace talks without dangerous human weapons." Dr. Yoonji Woo was watching everything with sharp eyes. She looked at the broken weapon, then at Hana. Something passed between them, a silent message that Hana understood. Ji-Woo had been studying the rifle's design. She knew how it worked. "Thank you for your sacrifice, Captain Lee," Ambassador Choi said. "Now we can focus on building peace between our peoples." The peace talks began. Aliens talked about trade routes and mineral rights. They discussed borders and shipping lanes. But Hana barely heard them. She kept looking at her broken rifle on the side table. Zelmak had thrown a cloth over it like it was garbage. During a break, Commander Park came to her. "I know that hurt," he said quietly. "But you did the right thing." "Did I?" Hana asked. "They destroyed something precious and called it dangerous. What happens when they decide humans themselves are too dangerous?" Park was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Remember what your father taught you. The weapon is not the warrior. The warrior is not the weapon. You are still you, Hana, with or without that rifle." Hana nodded, but she felt empty inside. Across the room, Zelmak was talking to other Vexthari in their clicking language. They kept looking at the human delegation and making sounds that might have been laughter. "Captain," Dr. Jiwoo said, coming up beside them, "I noticed something interesting about your rifle's design. We should talk later about modular technology systems." Hana looked at her. Jiwoo's eyes were bright with some kind of excitement. "Modular systems?" "Yes," Jiwoo said. "Systems that can be rebuilt, or reconfigured, or integrated into other platforms." Hana began to understand. The rifle was broken, but the ideas behind it were still alive. In Jiwoo's mind, and in her own memories. They had taken her weapon, but they had not taken her knowledge. As the day ended, the aliens went to their different quarters. The humans walked back through the station's halls. Hana looked at her empty hands. For 10 years she had carried that rifle. Now her hands felt wrong without it, but as they walked, she began to notice other things. The station's computer terminals, the lights and air systems, the gravity plates under their feet, the communication arrays in the walls. All of it was technology. All of it was tools. "Get some rest, Captain," Commander Park said when they reached their quarters. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges." Hana nodded, but she knew she would not sleep much. Her mind was already working, thinking about modular systems and hybrid technologies. They had taken her weapon, but maybe Dr. Jiwoo was right. Maybe there were other kinds of arsenals waiting to be discovered. 3 weeks passed on Harmony's Edge. Every day brought more peace talks and more demands from the Vexathari Empire. High Commander Zelmak wanted humans to give up their mining colonies. He wanted access to human technology. He wanted humans to accept Vexathari observers on their ships. "These demands get worse every day," Ambassador Choi said during a private meeting in the human quarters. His face looked tired and old. "They want us to surrender everything that makes us independent." Captain Lee Hana sat at the small table with the other humans. Without her rifle, she felt like part of herself was missing, but she had been learning other things. Dr. Yoon Ji-woo had been teaching her about the station's computer systems. Sergeant Kim Taemin had been mapping the station's layout and security. They all felt that something bad was coming. "Sir," Kim said, "my contacts in station security say the Vex Thari have been asking strange questions. They want to know about human ship schedules and colony defenses." Commander Park Dae-ho looked up from his data pad. "What kind of questions? When do human transports arrive? Which routes do they use? How many weapons do human civilian ships carry?" Kim's face was dark with worry. "These are not questions for peace talks." Dr. Ji-woo spoke quietly. "I have been monitoring their communications. The Vex Thari are using military encryption codes, not diplomatic ones." Hana felt a cold feeling in her stomach. "They are planning something." "We must be careful, Ambassador," Choi said. "If we accuse them without proof, the other species will think humans are paranoid. The peace talks will fail." That afternoon, Zelmak made an announcement to all the delegates. "The Vex Thari fleet will conduct training exercises near the Kepler sector. This will show our military strength and discipline to potential enemies of peace." Hana knew the Kepler sector. It was near 3 human colonies. Millions of humans lived there, farming and mining and building new lives. "Why that sector?" she asked during the session. "Because," Zelmak said with his sharp smile, "it is empty space where we will not disturb anyone important." The human delegation looked at each other. The Kepler sector was not empty. Zelmak knew this. He was making a threat and calling it a training exercise. "Perhaps the exercises could be moved to a truly empty sector," Ambassador Choi suggested, "to avoid any misunderstandings." "The location has been chosen," Zelmak said. "Vexithari military operations are not subject to human approval." 2 days later, the exercises began. Through the station's communication system, they could hear Vexithari ships talking to each other. Their language sounded like insects clicking and machines grinding. Dr. Ji-woo had learned enough to understand some of it. "They are not practicing normal maneuvers," she told the others. "They are practicing attack patterns, formation strikes, how to disable ships quickly." Commander Park was reading reports from Earth. His hands shook slightly as he held the data pad. "My wife and daughter are visiting the Kepler 7 colony this week. They went to see my wife's sister and her new baby." Hana put her hand on Park's shoulder. She had served under him for 5 years. He was like a father to her. His family was good, people who had always been kind to her. "The colonies have defense systems. Your family will be safe." "Human defense systems," Kim said bitterly, "against Vexithari battlecruisers." That evening, alarms began ringing through the station. Emergency. Lights flashed red in the corridors. Over the communications system, a voice announced, "Attention all personnel. A civilian transport ship has drifted into the military exercise zone. The ship is not responding to communications." The humans ran to the observation deck. Through the big windows, they could see stars and the distant flashes of Vex Thari ships. In the middle of it all was a small light moving slowly. A human transport. "That's the evening shuttle from Kepler 7, Park said. His voice was tight with fear. "My family is on that ship." Ambassador Choi was talking rapidly into his communication device. "This is Ambassador Choi. The human transport ship Peaceful Journey appears to have engine problems. Please order the Vex Thari ships to assist." A voice came back through the speakers. It was Zelmak. "Ambassador, the ship entered a restricted military zone. We warned all civilian traffic to stay away." "The ship is clearly in distress," Choi said. "They need help, not warnings." On the observation deck, they watched the transport ship drifting helplessly. It was so small compared to the Vex Thari warships around it. Hana could imagine the families inside, scared and confused. Children crying, parents trying to stay calm. "Look," Dr. Ji-woo said, pointing to her scanner. "The transport's engines are not broken. Someone is jamming their control systems." "The Vex Thari," Hana said. "They forced the ship into the exercise zone." Commander Park grabbed Ambassador Choi's arm. "Sir, you have to stop this. Those are innocent people." "I'm trying," Choi said. But his voice sounded hopeless. Through the communication system, they heard Zelmak's voice again. "Attention, unknown vessel. You have entered a restricted military zone during active combat exercises. You must leave immediately or be considered a hostile target. They can't leave, Park shouted at the speakers. You jammed their engines. But Zelmak could not hear him, or maybe he did not care. The humans watched in horror as the Vexathari ships moved into attack formation around the transport. The small ship tried to turn away, but its engines flickered and died. Please, Ambassador Choi begged into his communicator. Those are civilians, families, children. Unfortunate, Zelmak replied. But they were warned. The Vexathari Empire cannot be responsible for ships that ignore safety protocols. Hana saw the weapon ports opening on the Vexathari ships. Energy was building up in their guns. She wanted to run to the transport somehow. She wanted to fight. But she was trapped behind thick glass, light years away from her people. No, Park whispered. Please, no. The Vexathari ships fired together. Beams of bright energy hit the transport from 6 directions. The little ship broke apart like an egg. Pieces of metal and plastic scattered into space. Where a ship full of families had been, there was only glowing debris. Park fell to his knees. His wife was dead. His little daughter was dead. All those innocent people were dead. Hana knelt beside him and held his shoulders as he cried. She had never seen Park cry before. He was always strong, always calm. Now he was broken. An unfortunate accident, Zelmak announced over the communication system. The transport ship ignored warnings and was destroyed during legitimate military exercises. The Vexathari Empire regrets this tragic loss of life. Accident, Kim said. His voice was full of rage. They murdered those people and called it an accident? Dr. Jiwoo was still looking at her scanner. Captain, there have been 17 accidents like this in the past month, all near human colonies, all during Vexathari exercises. Hana felt something cold and hard growing in her chest. It was not just anger. It was understanding. The Vexathari were not trying to make peace. They were testing human responses. They wanted to see how much they could hurt humans before humans fought back. Sir, she said to Ambassador Choi, we need to contact Earth Command immediately. I've been trying, Choi said, but the other delegates say these are just unfortunate accidents. They don't want to anger the Vexathari over human paranoia. Paranoia? Kim snapped. They just murdered a ship full of civilians. And they will murder more, Hana said quietly. Unless we stop them. Commander Park stood up slowly. His eyes were red, but his face was hard as stone. Captain Lee, he said formally, do you remember the special protocols we discussed during your training? Hana nodded. There were military secrets that only certain officers knew. Plans for situations when normal diplomacy failed. When enemies needed to learn that humans were not as helpless as they appeared. I remember, sir. Good. Park looked out at the debris where his family had died. Because I think it's time our new friends learned what happens when they push humans too far. That night, Hana received a coded message on her personal communicator. It was from General Kang Soo-jin on Earth. The message was short. Gloves off. Show them Arsenal Protocol. Hana stared at the message for a long time. Arsenal Protocol was something she had hoped never to use. It was dangerous. It could change everything. But she thought about Park's wife and daughter. She thought about all the other families who had died in accidents. She thought about the Vexathari smile when they destroyed her grandfather's rifle. She deleted the message and went to find Dr. Jiwoo. It was time to discuss modular technology systems. It was time to show the galaxy what humans could really do when they were pushed too far. In the darkness of space, the debris from the transport ship drifted slowly away from Harmony's edge. But the memory of what happened would not drift away. It would stay with the humans like a fire in their hearts, and soon, that fire would burn bright enough for everyone to see. Captain Lee Hana found Dr. Yoon Jiwoo in the small laboratory the humans had been given. Jiwoo was working with pieces of technology scattered across several tables. Some looked like parts from human computers. Others looked alien. Dr. Yoon, Hana said quietly, we need to talk about modular systems. Jiwoo looked up from her work. Her eyes were bright and excited, like she had been waiting for this conversation. I was wondering when you would ask. Please, sit down. What I have to show you will change everything. Hana sat down at the workbench. Jiwoo activated a small holographic projector. In the air above the table, a three-dimensional image appeared. It was Hana's rifle, but not as it had been. This image showed the weapon broken apart into hundreds of tiny pieces. "Your rifle was never just a rifle," Jiwoo said. "Your grandfather was much smarter than anyone realized. Look here." She pointed to circuits and connections in the hologram. Every component was designed to interface with other systems. The power coupling that Zelmak destroyed, it was just one possible configuration. Hana stared at the floating image. "I don't understand." "The rifle was a control interface," Jiwoo explained. "It was designed to connect with any compatible technology around it. Your grandfather built it during the first contact wars when humans had to adapt quickly to alien technology. The rifle could talk to alien computers, alien weapons, alien ship systems." Jiwoo touched the hologram, and it changed. Now it showed the rifle connected to the wall systems of a building. With the right neural interface, a user could control anything electronic in their environment. The rifle limited this ability, focused it through one tool. But without the rifle, there would be no limits, Hana finished. Exactly. Jiwoo's voice was excited but also worried. "Captain, do you remember the medical procedures you underwent 5 years ago? The ones classified above my clearance level?" Hana remembered. She had volunteered for experimental treatments after her home colony was destroyed by raiders. The doctors had put small devices in her brain and nervous system. They said it would help her react faster in combat, interface better with advanced weapons systems. "The neural implants," Hana said. "Not just implants," Jiwoo said. "Biological computers, quantum processing nodes. Your brain has been modified to process information at superhuman speeds. The rifle was designed to limit and focus these abilities. It was your safety restraint." Hana felt a chill run down her spine. "And now the restraint is gone." "The Arsenal Protocol," Jiwoo said softly. "I found references to it in classified files. A human soldier becomes a living weapons platform, capable of interfacing with any technology in their environment. No limits except their own imagination and the power sources available." Hana stood up and walked to the laboratory's window. Outside, she could see the busy corridors of Harmony's Edge. Thousands of beings from dozens of species moved through the station, all of them surrounded by technology. Computers, communication systems, life support, artificial gravity, automated systems. "How dangerous is it?" Hana asked. "Very," Jiwoo said honestly. "The neural load could kill you or drive you insane. The technology integration could cause permanent changes to your brain. And if you lose control, I could turn the entire station into a weapon." "Yes." Hana was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Show me how it works." For the next 3 hours, Jiwoo explained the technical details. Hana's neural implants could connect wirelessly to any electronic system within a certain range. Once connected, she could understand and control those systems as if they were part of her own body. The more systems she controlled, the more powerful she became, but also the more dangerous. "Start small," Jiwoo advised. "Connect to simple systems first. Learn to control the neural load before attempting anything complex." Hana activated her implants for the first time without the rifle's limitations. Immediately, she could sense every electronic device in the laboratory. The holographic projector felt like an extension of her hand. The environmental controls felt like organs in her body. The door lock felt like a finger she could flex. "Remarkable," Jiwoo whispered, watching readouts on her scanner. "Your brain activity is off the charts but stable. How do you feel?" "Like I'm waking up from a long sleep," Hana said. She could sense the station's main computer network just beyond her reach. It would be so easy to connect to it, to expand her awareness through the entire station, but she held back. Not yet. A soft knock came at the laboratory door. Hana quickly disconnected from the systems and her implants went dark. Commander Park stepped inside, followed by Sergeant Kim. "Captain," Park said, "we need to discuss our situation. The peace talks are getting worse." "How much worse?" Hana asked. Kim answered. "The Vexathari are now demanding that humans hand over our star charts. They want the locations of all our colonies and military bases, and they want us to remove all defensive weapons from our civilian ships. They're preparing for conquest," Park said grimly. "The peace talks are just a way to weaken us before they attack." "Sir," Hana said carefully. What if we had a way to show them that attacking humans would be a mistake? Park looked at her sharply. What kind of way? Hana glanced at Jiwoo, who nodded slightly. A demonstration of human capabilities that they don't know about. Something that would make them reconsider their plans. I'm listening, Park said. For the next hour, Hana and Jiwoo explained the Arsenal protocol. They showed Park and Kim the technical specifications and the potential capabilities. Both men were quiet for a long time after the explanation ended. This is incredibly dangerous, Park said finally. Not just to you, Captain, but to everyone on this station. Yes, sir, Hana said. But so is letting the Vexthari continue their campaign of murder and intimidation. Kim spoke up. Captain, if you can really control the station's systems, we could turn this diplomatic meeting into a trap. Show every species in the galaxy what humans are really capable of. The other species need to see that humans are not victims, Park said slowly. They need to understand that attacking us comes with consequences. There's something else, Jiwoo said. I've been analyzing the station's records. 17 species have gone extinct in the past 100 years. All of them were young spacefaring civilizations. All of them disappeared shortly after making contact with the Vexthari Empire. They've done this before, Hana realized. The peace talks, the demands, the accidents. They use diplomacy to weaken new species, then destroy them completely. And the older species allow it, Park said with disgust. They're afraid of the Vexthari, so they sacrifice the younger species to keep themselves safe. Not all of them, a new voice said from the doorway. Everyone turned to see an alien they had never met before. She was tall and thin, with silver skin and 4 arms. Her face was ancient but kind. She wore robes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. I am Elder Nyx Era of the First Ones, she said. I have been watching your species with great interest. How did you get in here? Kim demanded, reaching for his sidearm. Your door locks are simple puzzles to those who have studied technology. For millennia, Nyxara said calmly. Please, do not be alarmed. I come with information that may help you. What kind of information? Park asked suspiciously. The Vexthari are planning to announce a new demand tomorrow, Nyxara said. They will claim that human technology is too dangerous for a young species to possess. They will demand that all human worlds surrender their computers, their weapons, their starships, everything that makes you independent. And if we refuse, Hana asked. They will declare humans a threat to galactic peace, Nyxara said. The other species will be forced to choose between supporting you and facing Vexthari retaliation. Most will choose their own safety. Why are you telling us this? Jiwoo asked. Nyxara smiled sadly. Because the first ones were young once. We remember what it was like to face extinction from older, more powerful species. We survived by being clever and adapting quickly. Your species reminds us of ourselves. What do you suggest we do? Park asked. Show them what humans are truly capable of, Nyxara said. But be careful not to become the thing you fight against. Power without restraint leads to the same tyranny you face now. She moved toward the door, then paused. Captain Lee, your rifle was never just a weapon. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and restraint. Remember that when you choose what to become. After she left, the humans sat in silence for several minutes. Tomorrow, Hana said finally, they're going to try to take away everything that makes us human. Our independence, our technology, our future. What do you want to do? Park asked. Hana looked at the pieces of technology scattered around the show. Laboratory. Every piece could become part of her arsenal. Every system on the station could become her weapon. The power was incredible and terrifying. I want to show them that humans are not victims, she said. I want them to understand that when you corner a human, you don't get surrender. You get war. Then we'd better prepare, Kim said, because tomorrow is going to change everything. Hana nodded and reactivated her neural implants. This time, she reached further, connecting to more systems. The station's communication array, the environmental controls, the security systems. Each connection made her stronger but also more dangerous. She could feel the vast network of technology around her. The Grand Diplomatic Hall was filled with delegates from 43 different species. Captain Lee Hana stood behind Ambassador Choi Young-sik with the other human guards. but her mind was elsewhere. Through her neural implants, she could sense every electronic system in the room. The lights, the air recyclers, the gravity generators, the communication equipment. All of it was connected to the station's main network. All of it could become part of her arsenal. High Commander Zelmach stood at the center of the room, addressing the assembled delegates. He had grown more confident over the past weeks, believing the humans were weak and helpless. Today, he planned to prove it to everyone. "Fellow beings of the galaxy," Zelmach said in his rough voice, "today we address a serious threat to galactic peace. The human species possesses technology that is too advanced for their level of civilization." Murmurs went through the crowd. Some aliens looked surprised. Others nodded as if they had expected this. 3 weeks ago, Zelmach continued, I was forced to destroy a dangerous human weapon for the safety of all beings on this station. But our investigation has revealed that this weapon was not unique. Humans possess many such dangerous devices. He activated a holographic display that showed images of human colonies, human ships, and human cities. Look at their technology, hybrid systems that should not work but do. Energy weapons integrated with kinetic systems, biological computers linked to quantum processors. This is not the technology of a peaceful species. Ambassador Choi stood up. Commander Zelmach, human technology is defensive in nature. We have never used it to attack other species without provocation. Haven't you? Zelmach's yellow eyes gleamed. What about the Raider War? What about the pirate campaigns? Humans have fought many battles in their short time among the stars. We defended ourselves and protected innocent civilians, Choi said, firmly. We have never started a war. That is what aggressors always claim, Zelmach replied. He gestured to his aide, who brought out a familiar object covered by a cloth. Let me show you the truth about human technology. He pulled away the cloth to reveal Hana's broken rifle. The pieces had been reassembled, but the destroyed power coupling was clearly visible. This weapon belonged to their military captain. Note the hybrid design. Energy systems that could overload. Kinetic systems that could penetrate any armor. In the wrong hands, this weapon could destroy an entire ship. Hana felt her anger growing, but she kept her face calm. Through her implants, she began connecting to more systems around the room. The security cameras, the communication relays, the environmental controls. Each connection felt like flexing a new muscle. The Vex-Thari Empire has evidence, Zelmach continued, that humans are developing even more dangerous technologies. Biological weapons, quantum disruptors, neural control systems that could enslave entire populations. That is a lie, Ambassador, Choi said angrily. Is it? Zelmach smiled his sharp smile. Tell me, Ambassador, what is the Arsenal Protocol? The human delegation went very still. Hana felt Commander Park's tension through her enhanced senses. Dr. Yoon Ji-woo's heartbeat sped up. Sergeant Kim's hand moved closer to his sidearm. I don't know what you're talking about, Choi said, but his voice was uncertain. Of course you don't, Zelmach said. It is classified at the highest levels of human military command, but the Vex-Thari Empire has excellent intelligence services. We know about the human experiments with biological computers. We know about the neural interface projects. We know about plans to turn individual soldiers into living weapons platforms. Hana realized that the Vex-Thari had been spying on humanity for years. They knew about the secret military programs. They knew about her implants. This whole diplomatic meeting was a trap designed to expose and destroy human capabilities. The Arsenal Protocol, Zelmach announced to the room, allows a single human to control multiple technological systems simultaneously. In effect, it turns a human being into a walking weapon of mass destruction. The alien delegates began talking excitedly among themselves. Some looked afraid, others looked angry, a few looked intrigued. This is why, Zelmach said, raising his voice above the noise, the Vex-Thari Empire demands immediate action. All human colonies must surrender their advanced technology. All human military personnel must submit to neural scanning to identify those with illegal modifications. All human ships must accept Vex-Thari observers to ensure compliance. And if we refuse, Ambassador Choi asked, then humanity will be declared a threat to galactic peace, Zelmach said. The coalition will be forced to take defensive action. Elder, Nixara stood up from her seat among the other delegates. These are serious accusations, she said in her ancient voice. Do you have proof of these human weapons? We have intelligence reports, Zelmak said. And we have this. He pointed to Hana's broken rifle. Physical evidence of human hybrid technology that violates 12 different galactic safety protocols. Rifle violates safety protocols? Nixara asked calmly. I have seen Vexathari weapons that could destroy planets. How is one rifle a threat to galactic peace? Because it represents human thinking, Zelmak snarled. Humans do not respect limits. They combine technologies without understanding consequences. They create weapons and call them tools. They are dangerous because they do not know they are dangerous. Hana had heard enough. Through her neural implants, she was now connected to 70% of the station's systems. She could feel the massive technological network like a second nervous system. It was time to show the galaxy what humans were really capable of. She stepped forward from behind Ambassador Choi. Commander Zelmak, she said in a clear voice, you want to see the Arsenal Protocol in action? The room went quiet. Every eye turned to her. Zelmak's yellow eyes narrowed. Captain Lee, I presume? The owner of this primitive weapon? Former owner, Hana said. She walked slowly toward the center of the room. You destroyed my rifle to show human weakness. You murdered innocent families to test human responses. You threatened my people to force our submission. I enforced galactic law, Zelmak said. And now you threaten me? In front of all these witnesses? This proves humans are too dangerous to be allowed freedom. You're right about one thing, Hana said. She stopped next to the table where her broken rifle lay. Humans are dangerous when you push us too far. She reached out and touched the broken weapon. Through her neural implants, she connected to its dormant circuits. The rifle was broken, but its design patterns were still intact in its memory banks. The quantum signatures of its hybrid systems were still there, waiting to be replicated. What are you doing? Zelmak demanded. Showing you what you really destroyed, Hana said. Through the station's communication system, she began broadcasting the rifle's design specifications to every computer on Harmony's edge. This weapon wasn't dangerous because of what it could do. It was dangerous because of what it represented. Around the room, computer screens began displaying technical diagrams, the rifle's hybrid systems, its modular design, its ability to interface with other technologies. Every alien in the room could see the incredible sophistication of the human. Engineering. Human adaptability, Hana continued. Her neural implants were now connected to 90% of the station's systems. She could feel the power flowing through the network like blood through her veins. You called my rifle primitive, but look at these specifications. Energy efficiency that exceeds Vexathari standards by 40%. Materials, science that combines 6 different alien technologies. Computer systems that can interface with equipment from dozens of species. Some of the alien delegates were studying the diagrams with obvious interest. Others looked worried. The Vexathari guards were moving closer to Hana, but Zelmak held them back with a gesture. Technology means nothing without the wisdom to use it properly, Zelmak said. Humans lack that wisdom. Do we? Hana asked. She activated her connection to the station's security systems. Every camera in the room turned to focus on Zelmak. Let's talk about wisdom, Commander. Let's talk about the 17 species that have gone extinct after making contact with the Vexathari Empire. Zelmak's eyes widened in surprise. How did you access classified Vexathari records? Hana smiled. The same way I'm accessing your personal communications right now. Through the room's speakers, Zelmak's voice began playing recordings of his conversations with other Vexathari officers. Plans to destroy human colonies, discussions about dividing human technology among Vexathari corporations, orders to eliminate human leadership and enslave the survivors. Impossible, Zelmak snarled. Those communications are encrypted with quantum security. Human computers think differently than yours, Hana said. She was now connected to 100% of the station's systems. The feeling was incredible and terrifying. She could feel every life support system, every power relay, every structural support. The entire station was part of her body now. We see patterns where you see chaos. We find connections where you see separation. The alien delegates were in uproar. The recordings proved that the Vexthari had been planning genocide from the beginning. The peace talks were a lie. The accusations against humanity were projection. "Guards!" Zelmach shouted. "Arrest the human terrorists!" Vexthari soldiers raised their weapons, but Hana was ready. Through her, the diplomatic hall had become a battlefield without a single shot being fired. Captain Lee Hana stood in the center of the room, connected to every system on Harmony's edge through her neural implants. Around her, Vexthari soldiers were trapped, behind energy barriers that she controlled with her thoughts. High Commander Zelmach pressed against his containment field, his yellow eyes burning with rage. "Release us immediately," Zelmach demanded. "This is an act of war against the Vexthari Empire." "Is it?" Hana asked calmly. "You're the ones who brought weapons to a diplomatic meeting. You're the ones who threatened innocent civilians. I'm just using the station's safety systems to protect everyone here." Through the room's communication system, she continued playing the intercepted Vexthari recordings, plans to attack human colonies, orders to capture human technology, discussions about selling human prisoners as slaves. Every word proved that the Vexthari had never intended to make peace. Elder Nixara stood up from her seat. "The evidence is clear," she announced to the other delegates. "The Vexthari Empire has been planning genocide while pretending to negotiate peace. This is exactly what happened to the 17 extinct species. The humans are manipulating the recordings," Zelmach snarled. "They are terrorists using illegal technology to—" His words were cut off as Hana muted his audio. She had grown tired of his lies. Around the room, delegates from dozens of species were talking excitedly. Some looked shocked by the revelations. Others seemed to have suspected the truth all along. Ambassador Choi stepped forward. "Delegates of the Galactic Coalition, you have seen the evidence of Vexthari treachery, but more importantly, you have seen a demonstration of human restraint. Captain Lee could have killed everyone in this room. Instead, she chose to reveal the truth and protect innocent lives. Restraint." A delegate with blue skin and tentacles for arms spoke up. "She has taken control of an entire space station. She could kill us all with a thought." "Yes," Hana said, turning to face the alien. "I could. The life support systems, the gravity generators, the structural integrity fields. All of it is under my control now. But I won't hurt anyone unless they threaten innocent people." To prove her point, she began demonstrating her capabilities. The lights in the room dimmed and brightened in patterns. The artificial gravity shifted, slightly, making everyone feel lighter and then heavier. The air recycling systems changed their rhythm, creating a musical tone that filled the room. "This is what the Arsenal Protocol really means," Dr. Yoon Ji-woo said, speaking for the first time during the meeting. "Not a weapon to destroy, but a tool to create and protect. Captain Lee doesn't control these systems through force. She interfaces with them through understanding." Hana nodded. Through her neural connection, she could feel every circuit and processor on the station. It was like having a body with millions of parts, all working together. She could sense the fear and confusion of the people around her, but she could also sense something else. Hope. "The Vexthari called human technology dangerous," Hana said. "They were right. Our technology is dangerous to tyrants and bullies. It's dangerous to anyone who thinks strength means the ability to hurt others." She gestured toward her broken rifle on the table. "They destroyed my weapon because they thought it would make me helpless. But the weapon was never the source of my strength. It was just one way to focus that strength." Through the station's sensors, Hana detected movement in the corridors outside. Vexthari reinforcements were moving toward the diplomatic hall. Their weapons were charged and ready. They planned to storm the room and kill everyone inside if necessary. "Commander Park," Hana said without turning around. "We have company coming." "Commander." Park Dae-ho moved to a control console and activated the room's defensive screens. The walls became transparent, showing the corridors outside. 50 Vexthari soldiers were advancing on their position with heavy weapons. "They're going to try to breach the room," Sergeant Kim Tae-min reported. "Plasma cannons and assault charges." "Let them come," Hana said. Through her connection to the station's systems, she began rerouting power and modifying environmental controls. I want to show our guests what human ingenuity really looks like. The first group of Vexithari soldiers reached the main door to the diplomatic hall. They placed shaped charges against the reinforced barrier and stepped back. The explosion should have blown the door apart. Instead, the charges fizzled harmlessly. Hana had drained the power from their detonators through the station's electromagnetic field generators. Impossible, one of the soldiers said in the Vexithari language. Hana had learned to understand their speech through the station's translation systems. The soldiers tried their plasma rifles next. The weapons charged up and fired, but the energy blasts were absorbed by invisible force fields that Hana had activated in the corridors. The reflected energy bounced harmlessly off the walls. "How is she doing this?" a delegate whispered. "Human. Technology thinks differently," Dr. Jiwoo explained. "We don't just build machines, we build relationships between machines. Every system talks to every other system. In the right hands, the entire station becomes one giant tool." The Vexithari soldiers tried a different approach. They began cutting through the walls with industrial torches. But as soon as they made a hole, Hana sealed it with emergency repair systems. She redirected atmospheric pressure to push back against their cutting tools. She used magnetic fields to pull their equipment away from them. "This is not warfare," Elder Nixara observed, with what might have been admiration. "This is artistry." Hana felt a warm glow at the compliment, but she stayed, focused on the tactical situation. More Vexithari were coming. They were bringing heavier weapons. Soon they would try something that even she might not be able to stop. "Captain," Commander Park said quietly, "how long can you maintain this level of control?" "I don't know," Hana admitted. The neural load was enormous. She could feel her brain working at the edge of its capacity. "The implants weren't designed for this level of integration. I might have minutes or hours before the stress becomes dangerous." "Then we need to end this quickly," Ambassador Choi said. He turned to address the assembled delegates. "You have seen the evidence of Vexithari treachery. You have witnessed human capability and restraint. I ask you now to choose. Will you stand with justice, or will you enable genocide?" The delegate with blue skin spoke first. "The Kepler Republic stands with humanity. The evidence is clear." A creature that looked like a walking tree raised one of its branch arms. "The forest worlds agree. The Vexithari have committed crimes against peace." One by one, other delegates voiced their support. Some were clearly afraid of Vexithari retaliation, but they were more afraid of being on the wrong side of history. Elder Nixara spoke last. "The first ones have watched the younger species for millennia," she said. "We have seen empire after empire rise and fall. The Vexithari pattern is always the same. Pretend to be civilized while destroying anyone who might become a threat. Today, that pattern ends." Inside his containment field, Zelmach was furious. "You will all regret this decision. The Vexithari fleet will do nothing," a new voice said from the room's communication system. Everyone looked up in surprise. The voice was human, but unfamiliar. Through the speakers came the sound of weapons fire and explosions. "This is Admiral Lee Minho of the Earth Defense Force," the voice continued. "We have been monitoring the situation at Harmony's Edge. 12 hours ago, Vexithari forces attacked the Kepler colonies without warning. They are currently engaged with the combined fleets of 7 coalition species." Hana felt a chill of fear. "Admiral, what is the status of the colonies?" "Under attack, but holding," the Admiral replied. "The Vexithari thought they were fighting helpless human civilians. They were not prepared for what they found instead." Through the station's communication array, Hana accessed the tactical data from the battle. What she saw made her smile despite the danger. The human colonies were not defenseless. Hidden defensive platforms were emerging from asteroids and moons. Ships that looked like civilian transports were revealing military-grade weapons. The Vexithari had walked into a trap. "You see," Admiral Lee said, "humans have been preparing for this day since the first peace talks began. We knew the Vexithari were planning treachery. We just needed proof before we acted." "The peaceful negotiations were fake from the beginning," Zelmach accused. "No," Hana said, turning to face him. "The negotiations were real. We genuinely wanted peace. But we're not stupid. We prepare for war while hoping for peace. That's what makes us human. The sounds of battle continued through the communication system. But they were getting quieter. The Vexithari fleet was retreating or being destroyed. "Admiral," Commander Park said, "what are your orders regarding the prisoners here?" "That depends on Captain Lee," the Admiral replied. "She has operational command of the station until further notice. The Arsenal Protocol gives her authority to make battlefield decisions." All eyes turned to Hana. She could feel the weight of the moment. What she decided now would affect the future of human-alien relations for generations. She could execute the Vexithari leadership for their crimes. She could hold them hostage, or she could choose a different path. Lower the containment. "Fields," she said. "Captain K." 2 months after the confrontation at Harmony's Edge, Captain Lee Hana stood in a very different kind of meeting room. The new Coalition Council chambers were built on neutral ground, with representatives from 47 species instead of the original 23. The Vexithari Empire had been reduced to 12 systems and was no longer allowed to maintain military forces outside their own territory. "The Treaty of New Harmony has been ratified by all member species," Elder Nixera announced from her position as the new council chairwoman. "Humanity is granted full coalition membership with all rights and responsibilities." Applause filled the chamber. Ambassador Choi Young-sik smiled as he signed the official documents. Next to him, General Kang Soo-jin represented the Earth Defense Force in their new role as coalition peacekeepers. Hana watched from her seat among the military advisors. She wore a new uniform now with insignia that marked her as the first human coalition technology integration specialist. It was a fancy title for a simple job. Help other species understand human technology and help humans understand alien science. "Captain Lee," Elder Nixara called out, "would you please join us at the signing table?" Hana stood and walked to the front of the chamber. Every eye in the room followed her. Some looked at her with respect, others with curiosity, a few with lingering fear. She had become famous throughout the galaxy as the human who took control of an entire space station without firing a shot. "Captain Lee," Nixara said formally, "the Coalition Council wishes to present you with this." She held out a weapon. At first glance, it looked like Hana's old rifle. But as Hana examined it more closely, she could see the differences. The design was cleaner, more elegant. Components from a dozen different species had been integrated into the framework. Human adaptive circuits worked alongside Zephyrian quantum processors and Kepler crystal matrices. This weapon was built by a joint team of scientists from 7 species, Dr. Yoon Ji-woo explained, stepping forward from the crowd. "It incorporates the best of everyone's technology, designed according to human modular principles, but enhanced with alien innovations." Hana took the rifle carefully. It felt right in her hands, balanced and purposeful. But more than that, she could sense the cooperative spirit that had gone into its creation. This was not a weapon built for conquest or domination. It was a tool, built for protection and peace. "The rifle has been configured to interface with your neural implants," Ji-woo continued. "But unlike your previous weapon, this one includes safety protocols developed by coalition psychologists. It will enhance your abilities without risking your sanity or health." "Thank you," Hana said simply. She looked around the room at the assembled delegates. "This means more to me than you know." Former High Commander Zelmach stood up from his seat in the Vexithari section. He had been stripped of his military rank and now served as a civilian representative. His people had chosen him to speak for them during the peace negotiations, perhaps as a reminder of the consequences of aggressive policies. "Captain Lee," he said in his rough voice, "I owe you an apology, and my people owe all of humanity a debt." The chamber fell silent. No one had expected this. "When I destroyed your weapon," Zelmach continued, "I thought I was removing a threat. I was wrong. The threat was never your technology. The threat was my people's arrogance and fear." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "You could have killed me and all my soldiers at Harmony's Edge. You could have destroyed our ships when we attacked your colonies. Instead, you chose mercy. You taught us that true strength comes from restraint, not aggression." Hana nodded respectfully. "Commander, everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning from them." "Indeed," Zelmak said, which is why I want to offer this. He held up a small crystal, deep blue and perfectly cut. This is a Vex Thari memory crystal. It contains the complete technical specifications of our military technology. Weapons, shields, ships, everything. We offer it to humanity as compensation for our crimes. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Vex Thari technology was some of the most advanced in the galaxy. They had never shared it with anyone before. That's very generous, Hana said. But I think it would be better if you shared that knowledge with the entire coalition. All species working together will create better solutions than any one species working alone. Zelmak's yellow eyes showed something. That might have been surprise, then respect. You continue to teach us wisdom, Captain. Very well. The Vex Thari Empire offers this knowledge to all coalition members. Elder Nixara smiled. The Council accepts this gift in the spirit of cooperation and forgiveness. Let it mark the beginning of a new era of peace. After the formal ceremonies ended, Hana found herself on an observation deck looking out at the stars. Harmony's Edge was visible in the distance, now serving as a research station where scientists from many species worked together on joint projects. Commander Park Dae-ho joined her at the window. He looked older than before, marked by the loss of his family, but there was peace in his eyes now. How do you feel about your new assignment, Captain? Good, Hana said. Teaching others about human adaptability and learning about alien innovations, it feels like what we should have been doing from the beginning. Any regrets about giving up active military duty? Hana hefted her new rifle. Who says I'm giving it up? The Coalition needs peacekeepers who understand both human and alien technology. Besides, I think this job will be more challenging than traditional combat. Park laughed. Probably true. Diplomacy with 47 different species. You'll need all your tactical skills. Dr. Jiwoo approached them, carrying a datapad filled with technical specifications. Captain, I have the preliminary reports from the joint research teams. The progress is remarkable. Human adaptive algorithms combined with Zephyrian quantum processing has increased computer efficiency by 300%. And the defensive applications are being shared with everyone, Hana finished. No species gets exclusive access to weapons technology. We've seen where that leads. Exactly, Jiwoo said. The focus is on defensive systems, medical technology, and peaceful exploration tools, though I suspect some of our discoveries could be adapted for military use if necessary. Let's hope it won't be necessary, Park said. Sergeant Kim Tae-min came up to their group. He wore the uniform of the Coalition Military Academy, where he now served as an instructor in human tactical doctrine. Captain, there's someone here who wants to meet you. He stepped aside to reveal a young alien, barely more than a child. She had green skin and large eyes, and she looked nervous but determined. Captain Lee, the young being said in careful, human words. My name is Zixana. I am from the planet Verdania. My people were one of the species that the Vex Thari destroyed. Hana knelt down to be at eye level with the child. I'm sorry for your loss, Zixana. How can I help you? My family escaped before our world died, Zixana said. We have been refugees for many years, but now the Coalition says we can have a new home, and they say humans will help us build it. That's right, Hana said gently. Humans are good at building things quickly and adapting to new environments. We'll help your people create a new world. Will you teach me? Zixana asked. About human technology? I want to help build the new world. Hana looked at the young alien's eager face and felt hope for the future. Yes, I'll teach you. And you can teach me about Verdanian science. We'll learn from each other. Zixana smiled, showing small white teeth. Thank you, Captain. I will work very hard. As the child rejoined her family, Elder Nixara approached the group of humans. Captain Lee, I have a confession to make. When I first met you at Harmony's Edge, I was testing your people. Testing us how? Hana asked. The first ones have been watching younger species for millennia, Nixara explained. We have seen many rise and fall. Most follow the same pattern. They develop advanced technology, become aggressive, and eventually destroy themselves or others. We wanted to see if humans would be different. And you passed the test magnificently, Nixara said. When given ultimate power over Harmony's Edge, you chose to protect rather than punish. When offered revenge against the Vexithari, you chose mercy. When given advanced technology, you chose to share it rather than hoard it. We're not perfect, Hana said. Humans make mistakes like everyone else. Of course, Nyxera agreed. But you have something rare among young species. The wisdom to learn from your mistakes and the strength to admit when you're wrong. That gives us hope for the future. She paused, looking out at the stars. The galaxy is vast and full of dangers we have not yet encountered. There are older, more powerful civilizations out there that may not be as benevolent as the ones you have met so far. When that time comes, the Coalition will need humanity's adaptability and determination. We'll be ready, Hana said confidently. I know you will, Nyxera said. And that is why the first ones have decided to share one of our greatest secrets with the Coalition. What kind of secret? The location of the ancient library, Nyxera said. A repository of knowledge from civilizations that existed billions of years ago. Technologies and sciences that could advance the Coalition by thousands of years. Hana felt a thrill of excitement. When do we leave? Nyxera laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Patience, Captain. First, your people